Hello, and welcome back to our episode by episode breakdown of Gargoyles, with this week being Her Brother's Keeper and Reawakening, the last two episodes of the first season. And rather than doing three episodes and splitting up and having the last episode we talk about be the first episode of the next season, we'll just say that for next month.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. Because if somebody is following this, they're probably like they'll watch the first episode of the second season and just be like, the fuck is that episode? It wasn't at the end of the first season. Is that like a deleted one? No, it's just the second season. We don't want to split them up like that.
Yeah, well, no. Next time I think the next episode or the next season does not start with any like major parters or anything like that. So we'll just get into the episode breakdown.
But didn't you say that the second season was the one where they?
Not immediately. Yeah, the next episode is going to be Leader of the Pack, Metamorphosis, and Legion, all self-contained episodes. So it's not going to start with a part or like a multi-parter, and we're not even going to get that until episode 9, 10, and 11, which is that's a 4-parter.
Ooh.
So we'll have to I don't know, maybe next time break up 3 and 4 episodes. So next time we can do 4 episodes or something. We'll figure it out next time.
Bonus episodes for y'all.
But this time we are doing. Do we want to start with Her Brother's Keeper?
Yeah.
We forgot to grab our little thingy-mabobbers.
Thingy-mabobbers?
For scores. We never did our scores.
See, the live. This is all live.
We were chatting and stuff beforehand.
Yeah.
Check our levels.
So,
we're
doing it live.
We'll do it live. Okay, I think I'm ready already.
Do we, are we scoring each episode?
We are. We have been.
Okay. So I could just throw away 0 through 7 for you.
I mean, I am also being generous because it's a kid show. Great on the kid show curve.
Wait a minute. So this is the one where...
So this was Her Brother's Keeper, the one in which...
Derek goes to work for Xanatos.
Derek ends up quitting the force and going to work for Xanatos.
Right.
Lance, what did you think of Her Brother's Keeper?
If I was to grade it on a 0 to 10, which is our thing.
Yep, that is our thing.
Then I would say this episode was I'd say 6.
Okay, that's close. I thought it was going to be. You thought you were going to think it was middly road.
I'm not crazy about her brother.
Yeah.
He's very didn't even give her the benefit of the doubt. He's always I have to do my own thing, and it's like just look at one thing, and he's like, yeah, you could find somebody to some CI or something like that to say whatever the fuck you want. It's like your sister, dude. But
I wonder if it's also I think Elisa's the older sister. And how much of that's just stop protecting me? I can do what I want.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
With the older sibling complex.
Well, it's okay. Well, we'll get into it later. But hey, Nick, what did you think?
I think I'm gonna give it a 6.
6?
Because it's okay. There's stuff in it I like, but ultimately I'm not big on this episode. And it feels so. Spoilers. This one feels a little weird. In that it seems like it's a different animation company too, but not exactly the same one that did Enter Macbeth. And that some of the animation seems weird. And then this one also seemed, to use a Brockheimer term, very toyetic.
Okay. What, with the helicopter and everything?
Yeah, all of a sudden they got a helicopter and the pack is like, all right, time to go. Let's assemble our hand gliders. And then they left off the thing on their little hand glider so you could be like, look, buy Hyena and oh God.
Fox? No, Fox is the one in jail.
Hyena and Coyote.
Yeah.
And they come with their own little hand gliders.
Oh, and I'm sure they also came with red and blue parachutes as well. So
you need to have that branding parachutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. God, yes.
And the part where the helicopter breaks, or they crash lands the helicopter and okay, and any crash you can walk right from right. And then the next scene is I could probably fix it up tomorrow. And last scene, all the rotors are bent to shit. This thing's kind of smoking and on fire. I'll have it ready tomorrow.
Yeah.
Be okay, come on.
And then it had the crazy fins and
yeah, and he customized it too.
Yeah. One day.
Yep, one day.
Well,
one night.
In his defense, Lexington is just that good. He's amazing. Because he was also he was that's the next episode. But
it's where they built the bike or whatever. Here he built the bike in like episode 7, 6, something
I think
like
it was
that.
sooner than that. So, well, 6, yeah. I think that was the one right after Awakening.
Yeah,
Was
was
the
the Demona one.
right. So,
I've got my phone in front of me. I can answer that question. It was actually 7, Temptation.
oh,
6 was Thrill of the Hunt. That's where we meet the pack.
got it. So don't write anything down in the comments. We corrected ourselves.
Yeah, that's it.
Actually, I believe it was episode 7.
It's okay. I don't think Amber knows the show that well.
I don't think she watches the Gargoyle episode, so
Oh, okay. That would explain our low
you can
numbers.
talk.
I watch them.
Okay. Well,
I watch unless I plan on watching it and I've never seen it before. I don't watch. I watch to the reviews. Otherwise, I watch the whole episode to make comments. I'm a true ally.
Yeah.
yeah, you are. But yeah, it's so. I thought the animation was decent in
It's
the
okay.
episode.
It's not as wonky as Enter Macbeth, but it's still different.
Yeah, well, it's so this was the first time that I felt like there was no reuse. So that would lend, I think, to the a different studio because like I didn't see like any standard reuse in this particular episode. I liked how like they did the effect with like the helicopter like running the spotlight through the trees and everything like that. And you
Yeah.
saw the shadows and everything.
That was neat.
I really liked how they animated the two pack members, like in the museum. But like the storyline was just kind of meh.
Yeah, it's just whatever.
Because it was another one of those episodes of David's always 2 steps ahead of you. You don't even know what he's doing. And like none of it makes any sense. Like his plan, he wanted you to get caught. Or he wanted to get caught. He wanted you to find this out. He wanted you to come talk to me.
Yeah, it's
And then like later on Elisa's gonna be like, I recorded your ass. And Derek's gonna be like, yeah, I listened to the recording. He's like, I knew she'd record her, and that's why it brought you closer into my net.
yeah,
So-
it's where the planning gets to be a little bit like, really, you playing this one out?
Well, it's like,
I bought the diamond, knowing the pack would attack me, knowing that Derek would be there in a helicopter, knowing he had to say he's a good pilot to hire him, so that I could make Elisa angry that I hired her brother. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a much.
and then the fucking gargoyles bail them out in the end. So yeah, it was weird. Like it was a strange episode, but when you said like the toy thing, it's like not only did you get the two in like nice clothes, then you got the hang gliders, then you got the night suits.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they're sneaking around all stealthily.
Which I thought that scene was kind of fun too, where they're sneaking around in the spotlight right directly in the eyes, blinds them.
Yeah. Well, see, I liked that part.
Yeah, that was neat. I like that.
Yeah, I dug that. Especially with when they had like the night vision and everything like that, and like they were trying to pin them down, and it's like, well, I thought you said this place was secure, and he was like, it is, and then next thing you know, they get flashed with the fucking thing, and like they're just blinded. Plus, did you hear the name of his retreat? It's Xanadu.
Xanadu.
Yeah, give me a fucking break. God, corny as hell.
Maybe he just really likes the movie Xanadu,
Yeah, I guess, but still,
and it's just a total coincidence.
total coincidence. Sure, sure. Let's go with that. But
But you name your character Xanatos. You don't have very many Xan names.
Zanzibar.
Xanthippe.
What?
It's a Greek name, Xanthippe.
Really? Mm-hmm. Xanthippe?
Yep. XAN.
I think
THIPPE.
I think that kid got picked on.
No.
A lot.
She was also a character in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Their daughter was named Xanthippe. And Kimmy, for like the first several times, had no idea what her name was, which was just kind of funny to me.
No.
And there's also jokes about, hey, Kimmy, like 1990s calls and they want your sweater back. And like Kimmy fires back, well, hey, it's not 2090 called. You wasted your life and you're dead.
Okay. I guess that's a good one.
It is. It makes me funny.
I will eventually watch that show.
That show's funny.
All right.
To a point, to a certain point. It's not Liz Lemon, what's her name? Tina Fey.
Yes.
She's a producer, and she's got that sort of weird style to her. She's the producer of Kimmy Schmidt, and she's got that kind of weird 30 Rock style to her that sometimes it seems normal, and then shit just gets redonkulous.
Yes.
And you're
Okay.
kind of like, okay, there's a robot here now that's doing, and you're like, whatever. So it gets weird, but there's funny in it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I like
That's-
Tina Fey.
My brief review of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
So if I was to rate that review of what you just said, I'm going to give it a 7.
Oh, nice.
Huh? So, sounded interesting enough. But yeah, it was a decent episode, but it's like, I think it was probably one of my least favorite of the season.
Yeah, I think this is probably the bottom of the season for me. I mean, I guess you could go back and watch the scores, but I mean, we got Thrill of the Hunt. Thrill of the Hunt's so good. Temptation's good. Deadly the Force is good. Enter Macbeth is good despite the weird animation. I mean, The Edge and Long Way to Morning. That's a real, yeah. Her brother's Keeper is the weakest.
Derek is just so one note to me.
Well, according to IMDb, what do you think is the lowest rated episode this season?
The lowest rated episode?
Yeah.
I'm going to say this one.
It's close. So this one has a 7.4. Enter Macbeth also has a 7.4, which is kind of surprising. And there is one episode lower than that, A Thrill of the Hunt.
Is that's the pack one?
That is the pack one.
See, I
like this one better than the pack. Or better than that. I like the pack one better than this one.
I guess it's just the pack is just so. I probably need to go back and look at what I rated that one, like, because I'm not crazy about the pack. They're just okay.
I think they're interesting, and then they do more fun things with them once they kind of separate them. So I think the Thrill of the Hunt is the only episode where it's not the only episode where we get like all of them. Because even at some point in time, like Fox gets kind of divorced from the pack pretty quickly. So even when we get all of the pack, it's all of the pack minus Fox. So we're not really getting all of them again.
Well, I mean, there's some of them you don't even see anymore, right?
No, we see all of them again.
Oh, okay. Well, I know they said like the dingo went on like some kind of European hunt.
He back to Australia, I think.
Yeah, and then like they haven't said anything about the old guy, the leader guy. So I guess
we definitely see Wolf again.
well, I guess Clancy Brown was like, too many voices. Let's just retire some of these characters. Too many voices.
Yeah, so I'm sure actors are ready to say, "Don't give me any more work, please."
Right. Yeah, okay. But I retract.
I make enough money as a voice artist. I don't need any more money.
I gotta do 2 voices in this episode. How much more? Nah, we can leave it out.
That's you hear them reuse his voices, and I know we said it before, but like Morgan just being Keith David again, which he's in next episode. But like, hey, we need a cop voice. Hey Keith, why don't you come on and
Oh, the cop in the street?
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean, he even has more of a Keith David look to him because Goliath looks nothing like Keith David.
Yeah.
So you kind of get a bit more of a beat cop or whatever, and be like, since Keith David doesn't have like a look in the show, let's give him something a little more.
Yeah, that works. But yeah, I noticed that too when the cop was like, something's really going on up there, or something like that. Something's really mad up there. I was like, pretty sure that's Keith.
Yeah.
But, they needed the filler.
Yeah. Well, Margot is Marina Sirtis. It's like, just give him your wallet, Brendan. That's Marina Sirtis.
Yeah.
Because you got Damone in the episode, so might as well use Marina.
And so this wasn't, but this particular episode, we're not talking about the next episode yet, right? This particular episode, we didn't have any Damona.
No.
It was just basically the Gargoyles building a helicopter so they could sell a cool toy.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, did they make a helicopter?
I don't. Not that I remember.
Yeah.
They did make a bike. I had a bike.
Well, I'm sure they made the bike because that's small enough. But like, you would think that like the helicopter would be like a deluxe toy.
That's also, I wonder how annoying it would be to get their wings in there, because some of their wings come out.
Who the?
Like most of them, their wings like pop out of their back, and so do their tails, because they weren't packaged in the original things with all that the bits and bobs on.
Yeah.
So I have them stored in like an old bin, and all of their wings and stuff are popped off to make them storable.
All right. So Gargoyles helicopter. So there are pictures of it, but there's no toy, which I find interesting.
It's also like, there I got wings. I don't need a toy within a helicopter.
Yeah.
Even with the toy of them on the bike, it was mostly this because the bike looked kind of cool.
Oh, the other thing I thought was funny about this particular episode was the whole. I always love how Gargoyles has like something relevant to what they'll be doing later on. Like he's playing a helicopter game, and then later on it's like you have to attack the people in the helicopter. I thought that was kind of funny because it was like, oh, thank God they played that video game.
Well, then you also get to have them, essentially brothers, fighting over, like, it's my turn to play. And then you have the sibling squabblery between Elisa and Derek at the end for Goliath to be like, yeah, all my brothers are dead. So could you guys like?
Yeah, could y'all chill the fuck out?
Yeah, cut the shit out.
Yeah.
Cut the shit out because it could be worse.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if he was like, "Oh, my brothers are dead," and like all the other guys were like, "Oh."
A lot of our brothers did too.
Are we fucking chopped salad over here? I mean,
Well, they're not brothers. They would be, because they're generation down.
I guess that's true. Well, I mean, should we just go ahead and roll into the Cold Stone episode then?
Yeah, we can do that.
I mean,
There's not a whole lot to say about this one. I mean,
I have plenty to say about this.
no,
one.
I mean her brother's keeper.
Oh yeah, no, it's very cut and dry.
Introduce you to Derek.
And that's the one line I did want to say where I was kind of like on his side is when he lands the helicopter without the rear rotor. And then Xanatos is like, "Hey man, I saw what you did. That was pretty fucking good. You want to come work for me?" And then he gives her the card, walks off. And he's like, "Huh?" And she's like, "Oh, he's just doing that to get to me." And he's like, "Oh, it's not like I could be really good at flying a helicopter." And then that was literally Elisa, like, she was stating something true. It probably was Xanatos, but like at the same time, that was a double for him.
Yeah.
I get a good helicopter pilot, and I get a fuck you to Elisa at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's the only reason you're getting attention is just because
yeah, he wants to get out of my
mess with me.
skin.
It's not because you're skilled at all. And just be like, dude, screw you. I can do. I'm also good.
Yeah, but like I thought that part was that's the one point I was on Derek's side. Was like, you know what, I'm pretty good at my job too, and I also liked how he was kind of like laying down. It was his helicopter. He's following Xanatos, and then she was like, "Okay, I'm giving you like a few more minutes, but if like a real call comes in, we're dipping." Like I like that he wasn't like having to chauffeur her around in a fucking helicopter.
And so, yeah, while we're following this car, and also extremely obvious, limo's there, helicopter's here.
Yep.
And for a man that has people invade his castles, rappel down, and shoot at him with laser blasts, if hearing a helicopter like right up there behind him, he's probably like, "Yeah, we're getting followed." I mean, it's not a stealth helicopter. I hear you.
Well, he even asks someone. He's like, "Are they up there?"
No, yeah. I mean, he knows he's being followed, but at the same time, at least, like, come on.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's going to be something with that gem that rolls around later other than it's just like something that I add to my collection.
That diamond, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't recall that one coming back up.
Because wasn't that like the cat's eye diamond or some
No.
crazy shit like that? Okay, I'm surprised that there's not a further machination. In the third season, he's like, "Oh, I was 3 steps ahead. The diamond goes in this thing." And
I don't remember it doing that.
who knows?
Maybe we'll come back around to it and be like, "Oh shit, I was wrong." But I don't remember it at least.
If you don't remember it, I'm pretty sure it didn't happen. But I also know that we're about to head into seasons that have like 50 plus episodes.
Yeah, the next one's got. Next one's got 52, I think. Before I look, let me just scroll real down real quick. Yeah, 52 episodes.
Damn. Yep. Okay.
52 episodes.
So hopefully
it's
the animation.
Possible.
Hopefully the animation doesn't get like super jank.
It stays mostly of season 1 quality with the occasional weird one where you're like, "This is weird."
Do you know where the divide is where they fire the guy that's like story control?
So when you look at the IMDb or whatever, they've got 3 seasons listed. There's 2 seasons of Gargoyles with Greg Weisman, and then the 3rd season is called The Goliath Chronicles, and that's when Greg Weisman was fired. So if you were lucky enough to have picked up the comic book line, like the first comic book line, because they're putting out a second one, that one's got Greg Weisman, and he continues from season 2. He ignores season 3. Since,
Through the comic books?
yeah, since he wasn't involved in it,
Okay.
he's not going to continue that storyline.
That makes sense. So there's
And I
a...
think I've only got like 2 or 3 of the comics.
Okay, so there's a divergence in the Gargoyles universe too. And it's Disney. So hopefully hopefully the timekeepers don't come through and like erase...
Yeah, we'll have Flash come running by real quick and erase the timeline.
Damn it, Barry! All right, so yeah, let's move into episode 12?
13.
13. Lucky number 13.
Yes.
And this one
Which
was...
is Reawakening.
Reawakening. All right.
Because they start the season with Awakening, you end the season with Reawakening.
Word.
Yeah.
So Nick.
Yep.
What would you give Reawakening?
I think I'm going to give this one a 9.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay. So
Did
the
you-
cards are too low. Yeah, I had it on a 9.
Would you put it to a 10?
And then I switched it back to a 10, but then Yeah. But I had it at a
Hoisted
9.
by your own Picard.
Yeah. So I guess if I had to, me changing the card, I put it at a 10, but I did have it at a 9 momentarily, but that doesn't count. So
You're not even going to mock me for my Picard reference?
No.
Hoisted by my own Picard, by your own Picard?
No.
Oh, okay. It was on purpose. Because we got Worf.
Okay, I'll give you daps on that one. Yeah, that's pretty
All right,
good.
so what would you give this one?
I would give this one an 8.
I always got that one right.
Yep. Because the animation looked good.
This one's good. It's kind of the culmination of the first season, I suppose, in that they tried science, they tried sorcery. Let's put it all together. You got Xanatos screwing with them, you got Demona screwing with them. Let's give them another team up again.
I don't like Coldstone.
He's okay. He's not my favorite.
Oh, it's just his character to me is boring.
Yeah, I think he gets slightly more interesting in later seasons. But in this one, he's just kind of like, he wakes up and it's like, it's Goliath's joining him. He's like, "Rrr," for whatever reason.
It's like Demona to me is not the best talker in the world, but somehow she like really kind of gets in people's fucking heads. And I don't see why you like her character. She sucks.
Oh, she's awful.
She's terrible.
She's an awful person. But
Yeah.
it's amusing to me.
But it's like she's got such a murder boner for all of them.
She does.
But she is horrible at trying to take them down. So
It's you can't in a kid's cartoon make someone murder happy
sure.
and also succeed.
Well, I mean, it's just. I don't know, she's just terrible.
She's so hateful.
But yeah, like I don't even know if I would work with her if I was Xanatos, because it's like,
No,
okay,
stop it.
this is the plan, and then she always shows up with the fucking laser blaster, and she's like, beep, 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 beep. He's like, no, that's not the plan. She's like, get the fuck out. Beep, 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 beep.
Or like when they start working together and Coldstone wakes up and Demona's like, yeah, this is my servant Xanatos, and he's like, come on.
I mean, I'm pretty sure she meant that shit.
Oh yeah, but he gets to do fun things like say, it's alive, it's alive.
I always want to do that. See, I like that line. I thought
was
that was
good.
good. I know that Jonathan Frakes had a good time saying that line.
Yeah.
Plus, the animation was cool.
It was good.
With the flashing and everything like that. Very reminiscent, of course, of Frankenstein. But yeah, Coldstone I just think is boring. I'm glad that they had Michael Dorn come in for the character's voice, but like he was super. It was like, what am I? And it's like, oh, you're alive, and we made you this to like get you back. And he's kind of like, okay.
All right.
And then, of course, he has his little mental breakdown and goes into the city and starts beating the shit out of everything. But like, I don't know. I find his character boring. I do like that he's kind of a double agent, but it's kind of like when the robot kicks in, he's kind of, I want to kill all the gargoyles, but
Well, do you remember what his deal was that they explored in the second season?
no,
That he's got 3 personalities in him,
no.
and sometimes different ones are in control. So he's got 3 gargoyle souls in him, and sometimes a different one's in charge. And
Spoiler. Spoiler. I didn't remember that.
Okay.
Did they do any of that in this episode?
No, they did not. But I just looked at it like season 2, episode 3. So we'll get to it next time. Legion.
Okay, well, I was just making sure that there wasn't like shades of that in this episode,
No,
or
they don't really.
or if as they're writing the second season, they're like, hey man, let's like put 3 fucking.
But given that 3 episodes later they go into it, it was probably an idea they had. They seem to set up stuff enough in advance
Okay.
that they kind of have an idea of what they're doing. So there is more interesting stuff with Coldstone, and it's not necessarily in this episode. I just think this episode's kind of fun.
Okay. Hey, if you can also identify the game in the background, I'll give you a dick tap next time I see you. So, and plus, I know the one person who's going to watch this is also the same person playing it, so you're not allowed to answer.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, the animation I thought was really great. I loved some of the fight scenes.
Yeah,
I loved Broadway. Like Broadway, he's kind of a jokey character, but when dude gets pissed, he fucks some shit up.
No, yeah, especially during the Dracon episodes or whatever. When
Yeah.
when guns start getting involved, he's not funny and he's not having a good time anymore.
No, he's straight up business. And like Lexington, I thought was the MVP in this one because he was all over the place. Like whenever Homeboy was about to get blasted, he stopped the laser from like Demona from shooting him with the laser, and like he went over to help. Initially, like his character was everywhere he needed to be in this episode. So my boy Lexington, I got to give him some love because he's my favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the part was funny when was it Broadway that got wrapped up in the cables?
Yeah.
And, like that was so perfect. Those cables were like octopus tentacles or something like that. Yeah.
It's like, okay, good enough.
Yeah, but that was holy shit, dude. That was some really good shooting. But yeah, the episode was okay. The animation was great.
It's good. I don't mind Coldstone as much. He's not my favorite, but I kind of find it amusing where like him and Goliath fall in the water, and he's like, "I'm going to save him," and then he comes out cradling Goliath, and you're so used to Goliath just being so much bigger than everyone else. For him to be carried like kind of like under the shoulders and knees, it's just kind of like, here you go, here's your big giant guy. I'm that much stronger than everybody, or something like that.
Well, doesn't Coldstone only have like one robotic arm?
Yeah.
So you figure like the one cradling the head would be like, and then the other one's like, God, you're so heavy. Oh God.
He's also he was beefy too, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's like as big as Goliath.
Yeah, and he's actually same age too. So, like, to go with the talk of last time, with Rookery brothers and sisters, he's the same generation.
He's got those weird fucking fish fins on the side of his
That's how all the gargoyles look a little different.
Yeah, they're still.
Well, some look cooler than other ones.
Plus, they just made his face look old.
Like, I don't like that. I don't like Brooklyn's snout per se.
Oh, his beak?
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
I generally like a more human face.
Well, I mean, Brooklyn has like the snout. He has the beak, and then Lexington almost looks like a skull face.
Yeah, and then Broadway's got the fin ears too.
Yeah, and
Your Broadway.
but he's got like the thicker, like more what I would imagine as kind of a gargoyle face to him.
No Broadway.
Yeah, and then of course you have Goliath, who's just chiseled chin,
Chiseled and perfect with like the little horns up there.
Yeah, chiseled chin, perfect. And then Demona, of course, she's just gorgeous, but like somebody decided they were gonna chisel the crazy fucking sling with the
halter and loin glove.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can't. Come to think of it, I don't think I've ever seen a female gargoyle. Like,
There's other ones.
like out in the real world.
Oh. No, usually not. They usually make them look monstery.
Yeah. So okay. So because there's Angela, right?
And there's other ones.
Okay. We'll get to those episodes.
Yeah, once we finally see Avalon.
But yeah, I had fun with this episode only for the fact of this was another episode where I didn't feel like there was any reuse in the animation. I felt like it was all new. It was all fresh. I liked the effect of when Coldstone was basically fucking shit up and like the water spraying. And
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Can't really see who's going in there, and then they get in there, and then like he gets knocked the fucking Goliath gets like thrown the fuck out of there. Him picking up the car, like that all was just very cool to me.
It's kind of like Frankenstein's monster, whatever. He goes nutty and just starts wrecking shit.
Yeah, and then I also, of course, Xanatos shows up. No, I don't want it to go down this way. I want him to be, I wanted to see if we can get him on our side. And then Demona, of course, does not listen to him yet again.
I think you're starting to see the divide between Demona and Xanatos a lot more. Where Xanatos is like, I don't want them dead. They're handy. And Demona's like, no, murder, please.
I mean, are they handy or are they just amusing?
That's probably a mixture of both.
Yeah, they don't like him, and he constantly runs circles around their asses. So it's just like, I'm bored. I'm going to go out and fuck with the gargoyles.
I'm sure the plan is at some point in time, he's like, I'm going to do all this stuff, and eventually I'm going to get him back on my side. Like, he needs him for something. In his head, there's some purpose, because he's not trying to kill him, so there's some reason he wants him. I mean, he did spend probably millions purchasing a castle and flying it across the Atlantic Ocean just because, like, oh, look, They came to life.
I mean, no,
Presumably not just to get a couple discs.
billions. Even back then, it had to have been. I'm going to buy a castle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to disassemble it, fly it over the ocean, and I'm going to build it on top of a fucking skyscraper. And I'm pretty sure whoever the architect of the skyscraper was like, "You're going to fucking what?"
Yeah, design me a building so that I could put a castle on top of it.
Okay, I'm going to have to hollow out your entire fucking... Because I'm sure that skyscraper was already there. And then he was like, I want to put this castle on top of it. And then the guy's like, okay, I'm going to have to hollow out your entire building to put like this main support fucking column all the way up so I can, adjust for the weight. You know? It's mind-boggling, that whole part. Like, it still pisses me off to this day. If I was David Xanatos, I'd been like, hey, put you over the clouds and brought you back. That's thousands of years. So, you can go, do some favors for me. Then you could still live here. And they're just like, we don't like you. And I'd be like, okay. And then the first day the sun came up, I'd be like, that's just me. I'm just bitter like that, I guess. Or at least I'd like chisel the arms off. Or something. I don't know.
He's got some plans for him or something.
It's got.
You don't do all that. Just be like, no, they don't like me. I guess I'll break them.
I mean, he's also 5 steps ahead of us too.
No,
so,
yeah.
But it's still that episode bothered me. It's like, what's Xanatos doing? He's 5 steps ahead of you. He knew you'd come talk to me, and he wanted me to tell you the plan. Yeah, did he want me to record you? I don't know. And then like 9 episodes later,
He's 5 steps ahead of me, so I don't know.
Yeah, of course I wanted her to record you because, like, Xanatos is the yes and fucking guy of the champion of the world. So
He's the guy you're playing D&D, and he's the villain that the DM keeps throwing at you. Like, dude, we got him this time, and you're like, no, he had a plan this entire time. And you're like, dude, stop it, just let us beat him.
yeah, he's fine as a bad guy. I love his red armor. Like, I love him in the red armor. I think he looks dope. And I also like that, they did kind of get over on him in some points in this, like when he had to like rip the head off of it because they knocked him out of the sky. And then it was like a revelation for all of them. Xanatos.
Yeah, I like that Bronx had him like down on the ground, and he just kind of like flew out from underneath him.
Yeah, that was kind of neat. I also like the conversation that Hudson and Bronx had, and it was like, we have to leave the clock tower. And it's like, the clock tower's unguarded. Someone has to always be protecting the castle, and then like they showed up anyways.
Yeah.
So
I think Elisa went to get him.
Wait, was Hudson there?
Yeah.
He was there at the fight?
Yeah, because that was at the end where we're kind of the theme of the episode is kind of like we're gargoyles where we protect. That's what we're supposed to do.
Guarding the castle, like breathing air or something like that.
The gargoyle can no more start protecting the castle than breathing the air.
Right.
And the old man says it all the time, like, yeah, whatever. And at the end where it's like, well, what's the castle? And to Hudson, it's just like, the castle's where we live. And it's kind of Goliath realizing that, like, no, it's the metaphysical or whatever, the metaphorical castle is not just where we live. It's kind of like this entire place. We need to protect stuff, and now this place is broken. We need to be here to help it.
It's a lot of work. New York's pretty big big island.
They're just doing the island. They're doing Manhattan, I think.
Oh, so if they look over the water and they see somebody like getting rolled for their car, they're just like, they'll probably be fine.
It's pretty far over there. So I mean, they're protectors, but I think it's more of like this is about as far as we can fly. You got the natural division of the water, and that's kind of fits for them.
So I just want to see one time in an episode of Gargoyles where somebody is getting mugged in New Jersey. And then, like, the burglar runs off with the guy's wallet, and then, like, Goliath, like, flies over, and the guy's like, and he's like, you forgot his watch. Because fuck New Jersey.
Fuck New Jersey.
New York! So, but yeah, it was a neat episode. And then Hudson's wrong. You can't, what was the saying? It's, you can't leave the castle unguarded, just like you can't breathe the air. Well, when you're stoned, you're not breathing the air. So it's like 50-50. Just, get away from it every now and then. So, your logic does not check out, old man. So
Just being a gruff old man.
he's still the best. Ed Asner's the best.
He is.
I love him. But is there anything else to cover about the episode?
I don't think so. I think 2 episodes. This is about as good as we're going to get for for these ones. They're good episodes.
Yeah. I mean, well, it was a good capper for the season.
It was.
So, 13 episodes in the first season, then jump to 52.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this was definitely the Disney probe of, do people want to watch this?
Yeah.
You
And
know?
then you get picked up for syndication and realize that you've got to put 5 of these out a week.
So, I'm going to go ahead and say we are going to see if we can see when studios switch. Because 52 episodes, that definitely was not done by one studio.
Oh, no. It's even the first season was... I see at least 3 studios, I think. But without me actually knowing. You would think I would know. I don't know.
No.
That's never something I've looked into.
Let's keep our eye out. Because I have a feeling you're going to see, like, drastic shifts in, like, style. And, like, how they do. Because, like, these last 2 episodes were far and away different than, like, almost every other episode.
So I don't know. I felt Reawakening kind of felt like Awakening. Whereas Her Brother's Keeper was more aligned with Enter Macbeth. And even that was more different than that. So, I don't know.
It's so grainy looking.
It's just weird.
Oh, and here's something else I noticed too. So whenever I watch the Gargoyle episodes on the big TV, they look very dated. And then today, I was, or maybe it was yesterday, I was going from point A to point B, and I just pulled up like one of the episodes on my phone while I was driving from point A to point B. And, like, they look great on my phone.
Yeah, because I mean, that's about as big as it's expected to be. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you take those old TVs and like take all that little pixel quality and like shrink it right down, and you're
Yeah.
only getting an image like that big.
Yeah, like I remember just like looking at my phone and be like, man, I should like watch all these on my phone, I guess, because like the quality looks like so good. But you know, watch these on your phone. You'll like them better, at least for the picture. But
I tend to watch them on my iPad.
yeah, they look pretty good on the iPad.
They look okay. I mean, again, you can still kind of tell that they're older cartoons.
80s cartoon, early
90s,
late 80s, early 90s cartoon.
94.
94. Well, still.
What's the same day that they woke up? And
Yeah.
I think they woke up in 1994.
Okay. Well, okay. So now we're gonna do our review of the Iron Man movie.
Did you just bring that up? For...
No, I'm kidding. I don't.
Oh, and we've got a chance to play this board game once, and why this one is sitting out here is the scenario we got to play was Reawakening, where you've got to deal with Xanatos and Demona while Cold Stone's going around either being evil or good.
And even the box says Gargoyles Awakening. So, Awakening with the Reawakening scenario inside as well.
I was going to say, I think there was 4 different episodes in this one. Battle with the Steel Clans, something in Magic, something Warfare, and Reawakening.
So, this board game is okay,
It was
but it's really easy because we lost the first scenario, and then we decided that we were going to gang up on one character. So it's like when the Gargoyles would just fly to one character, we would raffle stomp the shit out of that one, and then move to the next one.
I think the first go through we found out that Demona had some really annoying abilities, so the next time we just ganked Demona down real quick.
Yes, and then it was all about basically slow rolling the rest of them.
I think it ends up being a kind of neat thing because you build like the little town, the little towers, and go up, and then you each get your little characters, and it's got figures and stuff. It was fun.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't regret buying them. It was just buying the box. It was just kind of like, it was just okay. The art on the cover is pretty cool too. So,
Yes.
but yeah, it was an interesting little game. But like what I've noticed is most of these Ravensburger games are like almost exactly the same.
Yeah. Or they're kind of quick throw outs or whatever, that they kind of got their style or whatever of game.
Yeah.
Didn't they do an Aliens game? Or had you had a chance to try that one yet?
Yep. I think I've got that one back here as well.
Oh, I think it's right above my shoulder.
There it is. Fate of the Nostromo. But yeah, like I think the thing I like the most is like the minis that came with it.
Yeah,
like they do look dope.
I think even from that distance, you can tell that that's Goliath.
Yep. And then there's Lex. Here, shit. Actually, there's Lexington.
You get to see your hand in high definition too.
Yeah.
Goliath. A little out of focus, but good.
And then you have... Oh, you have Hudson. He's even holding the little...
He has to hold the sword.
He's got a little S-Dock.
Does he have a sword?
Uh-oh. Well, he's got his hand like he's holding the S-Dock, but...
He doesn't actually have it.
Nope.
Okay.
Then you have...
I guess swords are too violent.
Then you have Brooklyn.
I like that they've got a stone quality. Like it looks like he's actually a statue.
And then we have... Elisa Meze. Meep, meep, meep. Goliath. And then, of course, last but not least, you have Broadway. So,
Yeah, the minis look good.
if it was just for the minis, like a minis alone.
I think the villains were standees, right?
Yeah, and
they were flat boards that you slap into a base. That was not as cool,
yeah,
but they had fronts and backs, which was kind of neat too.
it was, but like it's still like that was the most disappointing part of this because like
And I think all of the episodes are dealing with Xanatos or Demona. Hence why you've got their two standees. And I guess presumably, if people liked it, you can put out expansions that would put maybe the clan or something out or something like that.
yeah, well, that was the biggest disappointment of this particular box set is that you had these cool miniatures for like all the main characters, and then you had those cardboard standees for like the bad guys. But
And then Cold Stone didn't even have a standee; he had a token.
really,
Yeah, he was just a token that was flat on the.
oh,
Oh
they like biker tokens and shit.
yeah,
So
and like all the art is done for the game. Mm-hmm. So I remember it's not like they just went to the cartoon and cut out pictures and try to slap it down and sell it as a product.
yeah, it's okay. It's what I'd like to know is because I'm sure that it exists out there somewhere. Is if I went looking for it, is that there are 3D models for these for like Demona and Xanatos
Okay.
and everything,
cool.
which I would be interested in actually printing those up.
I'm just gonna see if we had any.
Ravensburger, send us more games to review.
You know, those people really wanted to still like record us playing a game. They're pretty dope too.
Then you have these neat little stills
Oh yeah, that's right.
for the thing. And then, of course, Nick's favorite, Demona and the Spellbook. And sorry,
Yeah.
trying to get the glare off of it.
Yeah, I was looking to see if there's any pictures of stuff in this book, but there's not. But I think the cards had unique art. I guess that's not gonna show. I think that's not gonna show up, but
Probably not.
the little cards or whatever have their own unique art rather than just being stills from the show, like I said.
Yeah.
Which I think adds to it.
It was a worthy purchase. Like I said, the only thing that was disappointing is when I got in the miniatures. I was like, "Oh man, look at these miniatures! These are dope." And then you get to the warp warp little cardboard things for the bad guys. I was like, "Okay, I mean, you know," but I'm sure there are 3D models.
Do you remember how much you paid?
No, Goliath, you have to get in the bag too.
Do you remember how much you paid for it?
I'm gonna say I think it was 25,
I mean,
25, $30.
you get the 5 Gargoyles and Elisa, so 6 minis for 20, like unpainted, 6 unpainted minis for $25.
Yeah, I mean it's not horrible, but like I think we also bought it on like a Target weekend where it was like buy 2 games get 1 free.
Okay.
So because that's the
Yeah,
only time.
I think you bought that and Alien at the same time.
Yes, and then I think we bought one other one. I think Mysterium or something like that as well. But because I'm cheap and I don't buy things until they go on sale. So, but yeah, the game is definitely worth playing.
So I guess that is our episode 12 and 13 and the board game kind of assessment.
Yeah, just to kind of round off the episode since there was only 2 episodes.
Well, that's also all scenarios from the first season as well.
Yep, it's a worthy purchase, especially if you catch it on buy 2 games get 1 free weekend.
Yeah.
So
And especially if you're like just a fan of art, I think the art in it was really pretty.
oh yeah, no, that was the one thing that did impress me about it is the biggest thing that disappointed me about the Big Trouble in Little China and the Firefly Legendary, I think it was
Firefly had ugly art,
horrible. Like it's super distracting.
which is a legendary game. I guess
Yes.
you don't have that one up on the shelf. Do you have
I'm pretty sure.
Big Trouble? No, I think Firefly's over at Shane's.
Oh, did we not buy that one?
Firefly's behind Nick.
Oh, is it? Is it one of So one of these ones here. That's Big Trouble in Little China. I can see that.
I don't see Firefly up there, baby.
Firefly was like on the bottom shelf of the.
Oh, yeah, okay, so there's Big Trouble in Little China, and there's Firefly.
Okay.
So underneath our coasters are those. So, but yeah, like the artwork in like Big Trouble in Little China was horrid.
Is it as bad as it is in the Firefly one?
It's bad.
It was awful.
Sorry for spiking your ears. But yeah, it was bad. Anyways, I'd say we got enough on this one.
We can wrap this one up.
Yeah.
And a couple episodes and a board game.
Yeah.
I
Not
guess
too bad.
If ever you want us to try to record the board games, let us know, because we've got several to play.
And we'd love to do like a let's play or something like that, but until these get more popular.
Well, yeah. There's also the trouble of recording, because then you need a camera pointed at the board.
Yeah, and we found video editing stuff thanks to my buddy Mike. So maybe these will start getting a slightly more professional sheen.
Or just all this stuff cut out. But I find the rambling amusing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
But maybe other people don't.
well, that's probably why we're not getting popular.
It's we're the inanities for a reason.
That's true. All right, guys.
Let's put a bow on this one. Bye, everybody.
See ya.